Oh, welcome back. Welcome back. I am here again because I'm starting a new journal. I'm taking you along and showing you how I'm creating it. I've got this gorgeous pink book that we took apart last time and then decorated up the covers. So here's our new covers going like this, the front and the back. And we also started our spine and we had to let it dry so that we could work on it. But this thing is so solid. I love a solid spine and it's pretty even. Like I just put the book on it and let it dry and it's nice and compressed. It got off a little bit here, but once again, I'm not gonna worry about it. All right, that's just not even, what is that, an eighth of an inch, a 16th? It's a tiny amount to not even have to worry about. So we're gonna go ahead and get this attached today and get our spine going, our book going, so we can add our signatures and all the pretty things. All right, this is all the details. I am gonna try a new technique tonight. I have a new tool that I've used it a few times. It's pretty helpful. I did see another maker use this and I asked her what it was and then I got myself one. And I can't remember who it was. I think it was on TikTok. If I can find her, I'll link her. But it's like a spacer tool, which I love, and a T-square. So that is pretty awesome. I've got also some duct tape. We'll be using that as well. I've got some strong glue, quick grab glue, because I love that. And then of course my spine and all the pieces. I've also already decided I'm going to use a yellow gingham as the spine cover for fabric. I wanted to use something I had already and this was what I thought was super cute. The problem with this one, while it's plentiful and I have enough, I unfortunately know how sheer it is. It's incredibly sheer, like very sheer. And so anything you put on the spine, you're going to be able to see. So for example, if you were to put it directly on the spine, this is what you would see through. Okay, so a couple ways to fix that. One is with interfacing, where you would iron this to a piece of interfacing. If you don't know what that is, like it's at all of the sewing stores, Hobby Lobby, Walmart, wherever you get fabric. And you iron it on here and it just provides some body. And of course it's white, so it would be then, you know, have a white background. Or I'm just trying to use what I have, so I'm going in with a piece of felt. This is like a ecru kind of felt. It's not wool or anything. I'm pretty sure it's just regular, you know, craft felt. I just happen to have a big piece of it my mom gave me, so I'm using that up. And then I also have this piece of structured white felt, and you can use both. It's just that I'm going to wrap this one, so I didn't want the structure to, or I didn't want to have some weird bends. So basically I'm going to be wrapping him like that, and then this guy is going to go inside here, and voila, everything is covered. Everything is covered. All right, also the third option, I said two, but there's three technically. You could always gesso this and turn it white, paint it white, if you don't mind having the fabric right on top of your spine. Okay, so let's get started. Now that I've talked about it, let's actually do it. So like I said, I've never quite done this technique before. We're going to add the Tyvek in and I'm going to glue it on these covers. I'm going to use my tool here. I literally set it up like this, and then you put your spine in like that, and then you go ahead and add the glue here, and we'll glue it down. We'll let it set up for a second, and then we'll move on to this one. And then I think that's a pretty good way to do it, I think. Or am I doing it backwards? No, I don't think so. I think I want to add glue with the Tyvek. All right, so before I move the tool, I'm going to go ahead. Of course, my Fabri-Tech's got some stringers on it, and that's normal. So I'm just literally going through and adding glue all along the Tyvek paper here. Push it down, All right, get it in place. We want to have the gap so that our book will turn and bend and have enough space for opening flat and closing well. All right, so just gonna let that sit and hold. Of course, I will be putting some new end papers on here, so I'm not gonna worry too much about it. And then I'm gonna repeat that on this side. All right, so we're gonna grab our tool, slide it in on both sides. And I'm going to slide her out and not move it and just let it rest up for a minute. At the bottom it looks like it's a little bit wide, so I'm just going to shimmy that in. Shimmy, shimmy, shimmy. All right, make sure it looks mostly even. I don't know, do I have a tool for that? I don't know. We know our spine lined up at the top, so as long as we're lining up nice and even here. If not, we just shimmy down a little bit. All right. All right, I'm happy with it. All right, so we're gonna let that set for a second, and then our next step, we are gonna go in with some duct tape. So I just have the white duct tape. I actually wanted some when I was on retreat, and a friend was going to Hobby Lobby. So this is the Hobby Lobby brand duct tape. So I'm gonna go ahead and tape this together real quick. So I do like multiple layers for my attaching my spine. So for example, not only do I have Tyvek, I will now have duct tape, and I will eventually have the fabric on. So the fabric will be a third layer in this gutter to keep everything attached. All right, so I'm going to see what is the best way to do this, because this is the part I haven't done before, when I've done Tyvek and then duct tape. So I want to make sure I'm not covering up too much of the cover. So I just want to go over the cover maybe like that much. And I'm just going to wrap it and get it, you know, as even as possible. I don't do a whole lot of measuring or things that are even, so once again, I'm going to cover all of this up, so I'm not going to be too precious about it, as long as it's not just crazy wild. We don't do crazy wild, we just do a little bit of crazy and a little bit of wild. All right, so that is where it will go. Now when I put this on, it will not cover that up, and then when I put this on, it will cover it up, but you'll still be able to see maybe a little white through. But that's what trims are for. That's what the fun trims are for. So that's where we're going with that. All right, next step, we're going to go ahead and put another piece on. I'm just kind of cutting about what I need. You could always measure it and then double up, you know, what you would need. I'm just kind of giving it an eye, the bird's eye view, but it's not really the bird's eye view, but whatever. All right, try not to get your duct tape stuck together like that, because that's no fun. Oi, Julie. All right, we're gonna go with this piece and then add another little piece as needed. All right, so once again, we're gonna go from the back side. lay it down so it's about, I don't know, that's about a 1/2 inch over the spine. I'm not gonna lie, like it's a little bit aggressive, but you know, I want things to stay forever. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with it. And then if it calls for more trims to cover all it up, then hey, it calls for more trims. Because we know I got plenty of trims. All the laces and doilies. I was thinking a doily might be good on this. And then I'll just go in with another piece here and finish it up. It doesn't matter that it's in 2 pieces. I mean, come on, it's duct tape. All right, here we go. Here we go. And now our book spine is set. It will dry. It will learn to stay. All right, we'll put a closure on it. It'll be amazing. But there it is. There's our spine. Listen, sucker's sturdy. I'm not gonna lie. It's sturdy. I could probably stand on it. Maybe not, but whatever. All right, and then I am going to not put the fabric on yet. And I'll tell you why. Because I'm going to sew the signatures in, and I want these signatures, or the tying that I sew them in, I want that to be hidden. So I want it to be underneath this felt. I want the sewing to be underneath this felt. Okay, but I need to get it through this felt. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue this guy on. Let me put glue on him. All right. So it's gonna glue this guy in the middle. This is all working out in my head, I promise. It's all worked out in my head, all right? But the details are in the moment, but the whole thing is working in my head, I promise. All right, so we get lots of glue on because we don't want anything to come apart. Don't be afraid of your glue. All right, all the glue. There we go. And we put it on right in the middle. We give it a little shaky shimmy shake like that. All right, and then we're going to add this one kind of just to the top. Remember, this one's gonna wrap around like this pretty much. So let's add some glue just across the top there. And then when we sew these signatures in, we'll sew through this white one, but not through here. I mean, not through here. We'll sew through here, but not through this one. All right, so we'll leave this one flipped up. You'll see in the next video, or in the next couple of videos, how that goes. And then I'm going to go ahead and get my fabric ready and glue that on the top too. So I need a piece to cover. I have it a cut started right here. I need to make sure I get double and a little bit more. I just like to rip and see how it covers my duct tape. Where's my, a little bit more. All right, that's pretty good, I think. I do love a gingham. It's easy to see where the line is. Probably that one. Ooh, these are not fabric scissors. No, they are not. Let's see, did I get a start? I think they're also a little sticky. All right, there we go. Okay. So then what we need to do, all right, we are going to attach this guy right in here. Sew in our signatures and then wrap him around. And I like to leave it longer. Obviously, it's way longer. And then what I'll do is I'll tuck this under the pages after they're already sewed in and complete my fabric cover like that. Okay? All right, so that's the gist of it. Let's go ahead and get this guy glued down the middle because we're going to sew through him. I'm just going to start by putting glue on the felt. I'm not going to put glue here or here yet. All right, that's going to happen after everything's sewed in and I get, you know, make sure that everything's nice and flat. I can kind of work with getting things nice and flat when it's all glued down. And then I can go and do the edges. All right, so, oop, my bad. Let's go ahead and get this guy glued. Oh, okay, so there is some glue coming through. Interface would fix that, so we'll see. Maybe I will switch to interfacing a little bit next time. All right, or even just something else. All right, so my goal is to glue it all the way over the duct tape like that after I get my signatures sewed in. Isn't it cute? Isn't the pink and yellow? It's like pink lemonade. All right, so that's all we're gonna do today. Next video is gonna be about creating the signatures. All right, and then I'm gonna get them sewed in and finish this guy, and then it's all about the decorating. But you see what I mean? I can sit here and sew the signatures in where you can see the sewing here, but the rest of it's going to be underneath all of my protective stuff. All right, that's all I have for you tonight. All right, and we're gonna work on creating our signatures next, and I'll show you what I'll be using, a little bit of my formula for getting my signatures made. Thanks so much for watching. See you guys later. Bye.